Good evening. It is January 21st, 2025. I'm Glenda Carlin, and this is my weekly A Course in Miracles and Tibetan Dzogchen Zoom meeting. Thank you so much for those that came out. And of course, in A Course in Miracles, first Jesus is trying to get people to reconcile the idea that they're a Christ. That's hard enough. But then in the course, he says, call yourself by your name, God. If you don't like the word God, just think about its source, your creator, the big vast Tao, the living, flowing energy, creative energy. Anyway, call yourself by the name you are, God. So welcome, God Terry. Welcome, God Barbie. Welcome, God Gonzalo. Welcome, God Lorraine. Welcome, God Angela. Welcome, God Chaz. Welcome, God Ed. Welcome, God Debbie. Welcome, God Kareen. Welcome, God Glenda. And all those that are listen to this video on YouTube later. Thank you for doing that. But also, thank you for coming out to be part of this Zoom meeting. You all have no idea, but some of you are in this holistic light healing and energy work and yoga work and church. You're doing course meetings. You can feel those vibes. You can feel that spirit and energy, and it permeates this group. And what it does, it helps for healing, more healing that would have occurred. And I've called in previously enlightened beings, but I'm going to do it again. I call in Jesus, Buddha, enlightened beings, ascended masters, Holy Spirit. You're always here, but we invite you in to help me, guide me what to do or say, help those present and those that listen to this later gain the insights that they need to help them save them years of work and smooth out their practice. Thank you. Now, the topic for tonight's teaching is called, I looked out to see there's only the clear light of God's presence and nothing else. Now, to us you all that come to this meeting off and on, that doesn't sound very different. She keeps talking about that clear light. Well, but what's different is when I looked out, all the images that were there weren't there. It was the clear light of God's presence that was there. And that's different. Because before, what I found, because there's no levels or steps or process, but for me, first I had to integrate this God light in every form to integrate light, this full emptiness, this full spirit, creative energy in every form. That's called form and emptiness, not separate. Emptiness and form are not separate, meaning the physical world and heaven or nirvana are not separate. Well, that's just a step. But in the actuality of it, this is a dream-like and hallucination illusion. There are no images out here. There's nothing out here. And that's what the atonement's dealing with. The atonement in A Course in Miracles, Jesus says, the atonement means that the separation never occurred. Well, but I couldn't really accept that. We can talk about that or write it, and that's a good thing because then you kind of are getting used to it. You're kind of getting used to this, that this is a hologram. I got my virtual headset on. I'm watching this dream world, this illusion. We talk to ourselves because you're getting used to this. You're getting used to it. And that goes into the unconscious mind. So then you're not in so much shock that none of this has really ever happened. We're walking around in a dream. And in essence, when the body dies, you're just what goes with it is the karma, the actions that resulted in this, because we believed in duality, then we believed in subject and object two-ness. We believed we were a body, a separate self, interacting with all these other bodies. And what that results in is then we have feelings and thoughts that where we end up judging those other bodies. And it's just so unconscious and knee-jerk Don't beat yourself up about it. But the purpose of the atonement and my teaching tonight is how to let go of these thoughts and feelings to see the clear light of spirit that all these people are that you walk around with at school, your loved ones at home, your relatives. They're spirit. They're the clear light energy. They're not that body. But how do you do that? And since that December, what was it, 15th or 14th, when I woke up in the middle of the night and recognized I was nervous when I was staying in that hospital room with my sister for 2 nights, then I turned to Holy Spirit and said, I recognized, I laid there and I was thinking about what was I nervous about? And I teach you all that. Your feelings can, if you stop and recognize your feeling, then you can look back in your mind, what was I thinking about? You come up with the thought and you can track it. You had a thought, then you had a feeling, then you had another thought, then you had another feeling, and you end up just playing in a circle, gluing words together to make sentences, gluing sentences together to make paragraphs, paragraphs glued together to make stories, which the bottom line, those are judgments of people that we play in our mind. So I saw what had happened in my mind. I was living in the past with my sister, because I laid there and I was thinking about what was I thinking about. I was thinking about a memory of her, but the past means anything that happened a second ago is the past. That's the deal. Most people think the past is, last year, or my mama that was past, or she's 30 years ago, my sister did this to me. No, no, no. The past is a second ago. And a second consists of 64 million mind moments. And in that second, the unconscious mind, without us knowing it, based on our conditioning and how we've lived our life, it makes all these judgments about whatever we see. Its basic deal is trying to keep us safe, and I kind of explain, how much ego do you need? Only enough so you don't walk out in front of a car, because ego is just constantly talking, and it's constantly knee-jerk duality, good and bad. I digress. But the point is, how do you stop this labeling and judging? It's called practicing being in the moment. And I was talking to Terry earlier today and another day, and I realized as I wrote the last couple of teachings and even today, I didn't know what a moment was. They talk about moment to moment living, nowness, awareness. What the hey? Well, just take a breath. And in that moment that you took a breath, that's a moment. But bear in mind, that moment contains 64 million mind moments, but I'm not going there. It's already stacked a bunch of crap in the unconscious mind. But anyway, that's a moment. Then when you come back to a moment, check your mind with what you're doing with what you were thinking about. And you'll typically find out the mind is not present in the moment. It's thinking about something from the past. And that's the Course of Miracles. Lorraine brought that up last week. And that's, I forget, lesson 31, is it? You're only thinking about the past. And why that's relevant is Jesus asked you, how do you know that's a cup? How do you know it's simple stuff? How do you know that's a plate? Well, because you've been thinking about it since a little tiny kid. And I sat with this. Picture what happens after you're a little kid. When you're a little kid, the mom and daddy are walking around. Oh, here's a ball. And they go, hold the ball up and go, ball. And then they keep saying that to you, ball. And then they go, dada, and they point at dada. Well, guess what that does? That's the labeling of the objects from a tiny little child. Now, we can all just think, oh, that's just humankind. It may be, but that is not spiritual living. You all recognize something's not quite right. So what happens, this teaching of Short moments repeated many times is what I'm discussing here tonight. Is take a breath to recognize I'm in a moment. Now, what am I doing and what am I thinking about? And last week I brought up about like I'm washing dishes. That's a great illustration. Just watch your hands washing dishes, and before you know it, your eye is gone off to look at whatever's next to your sink. Maybe I had a rice cooker and then some other stuff. And then ego was off talking about when I bought the rice cooker and the color of it and, that little holes, blah, blah, blah. I wasn't in the now. Ego had me talking about the rice cooker, about past history. It sounds so easy, but then what I have to do, I bring my attention back to the now, look in my mind or look out in front of me to the clear light of spirit that's here. And it's not easy because then the mind's going to wander again. Within a split second, the mind's going to wander again. And in some of our homes and families, we might be having issues with family members. And then because ego knows that real fast, ego's going to start tearing apart whatever person you got an issue with. They're going to bring them back up and start the tape. I've heard it called that. The tape's running, right? Well, you've got to recognize, hold it. I didn't decide to go think about that kid or that adult. Hold it. You bring your attention back to center. It's called alignment, and see the clear light. So you're calling it faking it while you make it, because maybe you don't see the clear light, which is spirit and energy of I got to do an X here. I got something showing up. But this is called practice. Short moments repeated many times throughout the day and night. That's the main thing. And then the other thing that helped me get to this illustration is last week I talked about the ocean. Laying your body, take your mind and lay your body and mind on the bed of the ocean, the floor of the ocean, and just lean back and rest. Just relax. And you'll feel the movement of the ocean wave will go back and forth. But the ocean bed never leaves its bed. It never leaves the floor. But what'll happen, you feel the movement of the ocean wave is going back and forth. What that is paralleling is the great ray light that's coming in your body. It comes in and goes out and causes a wind movement. That ocean wave is mimicking this wave movement, this air, light, and prana energy movement within your body. And that's why it's so soothing. Just lay there in the bottom of the ocean and letting that wave go back and forth through you to relax. But it's also called immersion. Immerse your mind with the ocean water. And it's easier to immerse it with water than with the clear light of spirit, because it's hard to see the clear light of spirit. But you can, water, you can go there. That water immersed. Okay, picture inside your body. Picture this is like a jar or a vase. Inside your body is this clear light energy, spacious, vast energy. Your mind is vast, clear light energy. And your body's all lit up too. But the skin stops, in essence, the light from radiating out, but the ocean's still over there, right? The ocean water's over there. So right there by you. So you kind of relax. And when you do that deep breath from 2 inches below your navel, deep breath in, and on the out breath, go, AH, ah. Just put your shoulders down and maybe even shake your arms. It's called lion's roar. Shake your arms and your head and go, I am not kidding about this stuff. Ego has got the body all constricted, all contracted, thinking, labeling and commenting on all our relatives and loved ones. And it's just doing it. So you want to relax. So when you relax, let go, that's letting go of thoughts and feelings. And you've just laid back And that loosens up this skin, and your inside light, it merges with the ocean light, the ocean movement. Immerse your mind and body in the ocean. I've been doing that for a few weeks. Usually I lay in bed in the morning before I get up and do that. You can do it at night because what's happening, you're needing to, this is a quote from Tulku Urgyen Rinpoche. If we do not repeat the recognition of mind essence, we never grow used to it, never grow familiar with it. That mind essence is this relaxed, clear light, clear water just flowing back and forth. And in the short moments, repeated many times, when you bring your attention back to this vertical aligned center of the clear light, the great ray, vertical great ray light, you're coming back to your spirit self, your awareness. You're going from ordinary mind that just has wandered off and has all these conversations about people, places, and things. You're bringing it back and just kind of relax. So that's why the short moments repeated many times, you don't feel like anything's happening, but it is building on itself, because in a split second, you just think about the clear light is here. That's huge. That is huge. And then your mind wanders off to go do something, think about something else. You can bring it back with the leash of remindfulness. And how you know if your mind's wandered off is you start realizing, I just spent 5 minutes thinking about something that wasn't in the now. And sometimes we'll spend half a day repeating these judgments about stuff. But don't beat yourself up. You just bring your attention back to the moment. Be aware of what you're doing while you're doing it as often as you can throughout the day and night. So at night, when I watch TV or sit in my chair, I will practice these things I'm talking about here, short moments many times throughout the night. And then try to be aware when my mind goes off judging TV actors or politicians, because it'll real quick go off with a politician, because we now got the new president. So all this stuff's going on, right? Well, hey, we are love, divine love. So as these politicians come up, we say, God, 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 I love you, I love you, I love you. You are spirit. Bring your attention back to this clear light and say the politician's name. You are God, you are love. I love you, I love you, I love you. Or whoever you're having the issue with, the problem with, you call their name, you bring them to your attention. I love you, I love you, I love you. God, 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 you are spirit. Now, why this has come up is, as well, is my late husband and I, besides, I kind of forgot about this, we had 2 businesses going on. One of them was we manufactured that triangular shaped prefab panel when they got put together, make steel reinforced concrete domes. Energy efficient, super strong housing. But the other thing we did, I bought and resold memory chips, integrated circuits they're called, that go on motherboards for computers and all. I kind of forgot about that business, but I'm cleaning out my condo because I've got in this one spare bedroom, I thought I had some leftover memory chips. I was going to either sell them or recycle them, and they couldn't be in the garage because moisture hurts them, right? So I need to clean all that out because I'm replacing the windows in my condo with impact glass. So it's just a process, right? So I pulled out those memory chips, and they're in cardboard trays, and they're in these plastic tubes. I'm gonna hold this tube like this. It's a plastic tube, folks, and it's about 20 inches long. I wrote it in the email. I forget, 1.5 inches wide or so. But look, it's got 2 grooves along the bottom of the tube because the chips that it holds See those little stainless steel prongs? Though it's a little wafer that has the technology, but that sits in there, and those little grooves down there hold these little prongs so they don't get damaged. So what's parallels? Oh, so wait, I got ahead of myself. So I decide I can't, tried selling their old technology. So I decided instead of throwing them away, I'll recycle them. So to recycle, the recycle place won't take them in the packaging. So look, there's a little pin. See that little pin? It's a plastic pin. It's got a little head on it. It's stuck down in a hole, and look what it does. It secures all these chips from falling out of that tube. I can knock it up and down and my chips aren't falling out. It's protecting it. So I need to get the pin out, and then I'd hold it straight like this, and the chips with gravity dump out into a bucket. Okay, so there's like, I forget, there's 200 tubes or more of them. But also, look, I had circuit boards. They're called motherboards, circuit boards. These are inside computers. I used to buy them wholesale out of Japan from Toshiba and resell them to office equipment dealers. Ha! But this, what I'm wanting to discuss here is, I was sitting in my chair taking this pin out. This pin was not easy to get out. I had to get a pair of pliers, hold the pliers on their edge to push some pressure to get that pin to kind of pop. It'd make a pop sound. Then the little head would hang down here, and I'd take some pliers and have to pull the pin out. Then I'd hold it vertical and the chips would fall out. Well, guess what? This mimics the great ray that comes in your body. The great ray that comes in your body is a tube. It's a tube like a cord of light, the Hindus call it. But for me, when I look at it, and when I go, my vision goes up in it, it's like a corridor, a tube. Those people that have a near-death experience and say, oh, they went down this, I don't know what they call it, corridor or tunnel. They call it a tunnel. And there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And they were told it's not time to go. Well, they traveled, their vision traveled down their great ray, up their great ray to the big source light where the light is. And they came back. Well, this is a tube, buddy. I'm not kidding you. This is a clear light tube. And guess what we do? We take all these memories and judgments. Remember, let's go back. Well, Holy Spirit gave me this illustration. We take thoughts, glue them together to make sentences. Then we glue sentences together to make paragraphs. Then we glue paragraphs together to make stories about our relatives and friends, neighbors, politicians. And we store it, guess what? We store it and it clogs up our great ray light, our great ray tube. Plus it clogs up your skin. And look at these little suckers. They got pins. They got pins. And look what, in the ego mind, this motherboard, it's got slots. That's what duality does, subject, object. Takes two to tango, like Velcro. It's got a slot. Then these little memory chips, we have categories of memories. But the biggest category is that you're a body, you're a separate self, and the other people are bodies. But then you've got these subcategories that you're a lover, a partner, a husband, a wife, a father, a mother, a child, a business owner, or you're a light being, or you're a sinner. That's an unconscious one that ego will do, meaning you made errors and you're going to pay a penalty. You're guilty and God's going to get even on this deal. But the atonement says the separation never occurred. And what that means is then all these errors we think we've done and we've stored in these memory chips and slotted them, attached them into our mind, aren't there and can be let go of in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. When I did prepare for this teaching, I had never found this paragraph. that Jesus said about the atonement. But why it became relevant to me is I recognized what had happened to my mind. Oh, as I did the bucket, as I emptied these tubes, I know enough that there's probably grievances and judgments I've got against things that happened when I was buying and selling memory chips. In particular, I had staff that did that. And don't you know, Holy Spirit's so great. Sure enough, remember on my forgiveness work, I tell you to go back through your whole life, all your businesses, all your jobs, all your relationships, call out their name and I love you, God, God, God. I forgot to do that to these employees I had that sold these memory devices for me. Oh my goodness. So I got to call up their images. Some of them I couldn't make picture their name. And and I would practice forgiveness on them. See this, because I teach mindfulness, there's no accidents. I know these chips represented stored up memories, and I'm saying to myself, it's all in my email, I'm saying, oh, Holy Spirit, you got to help me. I know I got grievances. Help me let these go of all these people, vendors, supplies, and any other, my other business, those known customers or billing officials or whatever I need. Because picture in 1 second is 64 million mind moments. Look what the hell we have done, allowed the ego to do. Unconsciously, it's called deep as an iceberg, but you can't get to all of them. But the ones you can get to, they erase probably it could be 100,000 to 1 or 1,000,000 to 1, because I think we're kind of dealing with trillions or whatever is bigger than trillions of judgments. Because even good judgments are judgments, meaning two-ness. If you have good, you got bad, because that's how the ego mind thinks. Both of them are labeling your brothers and sisters that they're physically there. Now, what has happened so I was doing that, and, realizing as they dumped into the bucket, oh, I'm letting go of some more judgments. Yay. And then today, I think I read a post that Lama Surya Das had. He quoted Ajahn who defined Buddhism. To define Buddhism without a lot of words and phrases, we simply say, don't cling or hold on to anything. Whoa. Well, easier said than done. But because you all know the problem, we are clinging on to these memories and we got categories of them that we've stuck on the motherboard of the God mind. But these things can get unhooked. And what I'm bringing up, I want you to look at these things. Then you have a visual image of what we've done. Then it's not like it's just words or a concept. We've literally put together, these are called memory chips, integrated circuits, because they store memory and they have varying capabilities and size. This is what we've done. We've got a pure God mind motherboard, and we've filled it with all these stories. Oh man. But there's a quick way out, is short moments repeated many times. Because this doesn't have to take years. That's what I've learned. Since these things are happening in my mind, I can look back and go, whoa. But see, if I hadn't experienced these things, I couldn't explain this to you to give you perspective and then to want to save you time. So short moments repeated many times, what that does is you're recognizing mind essence every time you come back to center and think about clear light spirit. That's the deal, clear light spirit. Then when you meditate and you look in your mind looks black, may not see any colors. Well, the thing is, clear light doesn't hide anything. So that's why when you look in your mind, there's only clear light, but you're seeing this cosmic wheel, the cosmic wheel of the universe, the big black void, which can represent primordial pureness, don't get me wrong, but the clear light's there as well. I mean, it is just so simplistic that we overlook it, that the clear light of spaciousness is here now. But anyway, so this, so there was a quote, I want to find from this one, page two. Oh, I want to do Jesus's atonement. But there was another person's quote that I had been, oh, here it is, practice on page 7. Well, there's a couple of them here. But this is Thrangyu Rinpoche. Quote, it is said that we must recognize the mind as it is. In other words, as completely naked. And then he puts naked in quotes. Naked here means that the mind is not covered or obscured by anything. If we can really immerse ourselves within this original bare state of mind, we will automatically understand the right view, and everything that's not part of the mind will automatically disappear. Now that's the punchline, because I would before this weekend and now, I would have told you, I don't know how to do that. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's true. As you practice short moments repeated many times and bringing your attention back to visualize that clear light, spaciousness that's here, that's naked. That's your naked mind, your pure God mind that's unobscured by, not covered by thoughts and feelings. So you glimpse it in a moment. You glimpse it or you think about it in a moment, and then you're off thinking thoughts, etc. You're just going to build on this till finally what happens, it clicks. It clicks. You get the insight. Oh yeah, the right view is everything's this clear light. I've made it all up. These images are all made up. And then in a heartbeat, what'll happen, the images disappear in your mind and you just see clear light for an instant. And that's because all those images automatically disappeared in that one moment of you glimpsing your reality. You got it. So then you just keep building on it. Oh, and coming back to the now, recognizing when you've gone off into the past or future. Okay, now that was one, and then oh, here's the other one. This is another one. This is Nyosshul Kempo Rinpoche. Let's see what he says. Your Buddha nature, meaning your Christ nature, is pure, undefiled, unelaborated, unconditioned, transcending all concepts. See, concepts just mean thoughts, thinking. And when you have a thought, then you make an image. Then you have another thought, and then you have a feeling. All the senses get involved. Doesn't mean we can't think and have a feeling, but what you're becoming aware of, we want capital A awareness, that you went off labeling, judging what you heard, what you saw, what you felt, right? Transcending all concepts. Buddha nature is not an object of dualistic thought and intellectual knowledge. It is, however, open to gnosis. Gnosis just means knowing. Well, you'll get to know there's none of these images. There's just this clear light. You'll just know it. Let's see, where was I? The non-dual of intrinsic awareness prior to or upstream from consciousness. This will lead to the gradual path to liberation and enlightenment, is what you letting go of these thoughts and concept does. And that's what I recognize happened to my mind. My mind's getting free from these conceptual thinking to see its clear light essence. And know that there's, and fully understand and know these objects aren't here. Even though I'm walking around in a body, I recognize this, I'm walking around in this dreamlike illusion. These images and forms are in this dream. They don't exist. And that can really blow some people's minds. And if you have to gradually let this go, you do. You do it however the pace you can do it. But be aware, in a heartbeat, you can let it all go. You can dump that motherboard that's got all these chips on it. You can just turn it upside down and dump them. They're dumped. Because if you take one pin, that was the other thing about this whole deal. You take one pin out of that Great Ray tube of yours that you got these memory chips all stacked up in. You break one link, cut one link of the karmic chain of a thought, feeling, and an action. You cut one, and there's 5 kalacious, like ignorance, I forget, greed, ignorance, jealousy. I forget, there's 5 of them. See, there's also 5 categories that we label and categorize people and things with. But you just cut one delusion, one karmic chip, which could be the thing that you're a body, and remove this pin, everything, the karmic chain collapses. It collapses. It's no more. So you don't have to undo all the karmic chain, all the 5 kalacias. Oh, there's 12 defilements. There's there's lists Buddha made. But Dzogchen and A Course in Miracles cuts through to the gist of it, that there's just this clear light spirit. So I want to quote this thing about Jesus and the atonement. It's in chapter 2, section 2, paragraph 5. The atonement was built into the space-time belief to set a limit on the need for the belief itself, and ultimately to make learning complete. The atonement is the final lesson. Learning itself, like the classrooms in which it occurs, is temporary. The ability to learn has no value when change is no longer necessary. I'd never seen this before. If I had, I forgot it. And I wouldn't have understood it. But the eternally creative, which is you, each of you, have nothing to learn. You can learn to improve your perceptions and become a better and better learner. This will bring you into closer and closer accord with the sonship. But the sonship itself is a perfect creation, and perfection is not a matter of degree. Only while there's a belief in differences is learning meaningful. Now, what he's saying is, whoa, if I believe I'm a self and you're different, you're different, there's 2 of us. If we're different, I got things I got to learn. I got to improve. Now, don't get me wrong. What happens as we wake up, we naturally become more loving because we're empathetic, kind, because we're accessing this Buddha, Christ nature, this God nature. But I want to repeat part of this. The ability to learn has no value when change is no longer necessary. The eternally creative had nothing to learn. So all you've got to learn is where the hell my awareness is. Where's my A awareness? Is it over there with ordinary mind beating the hell up on somebody? Now, it doesn't mean you can't set boundaries and go visit your psychologist and not walk out in front of a car and visit the doctor. No, I'm not saying that. It's the middle way. But yet you're aware when you go off into the past, which means the past are all these memories of just a second ago. That's the past. But anyway, but see what he said here. The sonship means all these separate fragmented little arcs of light that's the one son of God and mind seemed to blow itself apart. The sonship as a union is perfect creation, is a perfect creation, and perfection is not a matter of degree. That's what Dzogchen teaches. Yeah, it's the great perfection. Now, I used to think that meant this ego, didn't mean the ego world. Your true Buddha nature, Christ nature, it's perfect, just like it is. You just need to be reminded and recognize it, not the learning. You don't really have to learn. Just go recognize your big A awareness, just this clear, spacious light, and recognize if I start to feel depressed, I start to feel upset. Ooh, take that breath, stop. What the heck was I thinking about? And then it'll come to you that you were thinking about something and judging it. So then you, whatever the event or person, immediately, God, 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 I love you. You are spirit. Because that's training, that is the ultimate teaching. That's the perfection of all of this. That is what you are. So you're getting your spiritual thinking. You're thinking spiritually, and the course calls it physical thinking. I ran into that today. Isn't that cool? That's ego thinking. She's called that physical thinking. Oh man, you're spiritual thinking when you think about clear light, spirit, God, Christ, Buddha, my pure light essence. Spiritual thinking. Yeah, thinking like Holy Spirit, perfect, godlike. Now what I want to look at here, see, the word is recognition, realizing your nature. Let's see, I made some notes because I found some quotes in the course that I thought was just pretty cool. Oh, here's in chapter 2, paragraph 1, section 2, chapter 2, section 1, paragraph 4, sentence 4. The escape, Terry and I were talking, I told her, I found a word escape in the course. The escape, so you're escaping out of prison, but you're escaping out of this mind, this motherboard mind. So you picture, if you only got your camera, your cell phone camera, take a picture of this sucker. This is what you can picture you've done to your mind. Stacked all this stuff in there. I'll keep holding it, and I'll hold up this chip, because this is a motherboard. This is what we've done to our minds, sorted it and categorized it and all that stuff. Even you can do when they do the video. But escape is brought about by your acceptance of the atonement. Now, what's the atonement? The separation never occurred. I made it all up. We, the Son of God, made it up. Now, we don't walk in front of the car, but you accept it. I accept it. Just say it. Write that in your journal. I accept the atonement. This separation never occurred. It's just a made-up illusion, a dream-like deal, which, let's see, enabled you to, let's see, go back. The escape is brought about by your acceptance of the atonement, which enables you to realize that your errors never really occurred. Yay. Your errors never really occurred. The peace of God denies the ability of anything not of God to affect you. This is the proper use of denial. It brings all error into the light, and since error and darkness are the same, It corrects error automatically. Woo! You correct error automatically. The peace of God. So when you lay back on the floor of the ocean, the bed of the ocean, and you relax and you feel peaceful, that peace, and you remember, oh, I'm this spirit, I'm in this clear light, I'm this peace, I'm this divine love. You remember the peace of God, that ability for you to go back in your mind and remember, recognize, and that peace you felt, that denies the ability of anything not of God, meaning those relatives and people that are bothering you, politicians, can have no effect on you. Unless, guess what? You start making up stories about them and naming them and label them as anything but perfect. They're a dumbass person. Why weren't they raised any different? You know, whatever ego's talking about, comparing. See, ego compares. It compares. It's separate, and by doing that, it's separating. So then that's different. That person's different from you. And then you can beat them the hell up with words and judgments in your mind, let alone what else other people do. Okay, but anyway, I want to read teaching, page 4. I found some of the most beautiful. That was, I think I read that to you, is that naked part of the mind that's bare and state. When you access that naked, natural, right view, everything not part of the mind automatically disappears. That means pure mind is not got thoughts and feelings on it, whether they're good or bad or divine blissy or peace, in the absolute, there's, none of that. Oh man. Let's see. Now this is in chapter 2 again. However, when he awakens, the light is correctly perceived as the release from the dream, which is then no longer accorded reality. That's the theme of tonight. You're not according this stuff reality. You still can have your paintings. You can still go out to eat dinner. You can still make love. You can still eat and drink whatever you want to do, but yet you're remembering, I'm not this body. I'm this spirit. And that person's not that body either. They're spirit. They're, you don't accord this stuff reality. This release does not depend on illusions. The knowledge that illuminates not only sets you free, but it also shows you clearly that you are free. That's what I recognize happened. My mind is getting free. My Buddha Christ mind is getting free, God mind, from it's called conceptual thinking. Obscurations are called obscurities, things we obscure the pure light with. Picture those layers of sentences and thoughts. Guess what they do? They cover up the clear light. We just crammed a bunch of memories, just fill this whole screen with memory chips. This probably take about 150 of them. Wham! You don't see any clear light. It's all covered up. Clear light's covered up. Oh, it's so simple, but then you just change your thinking. Oh, bring my attention, my awareness back to this clear light essence. In reality, you are perfectly unaffected by all expressions of lack of love. These can be from, oh, I love this. These lack of love. These can be from yourself and others, from yourself to others, or from others to you. What he's saying here, and I said it, in reality, you are perfectly unaffected by all expressions of lack of love. Through your acceptance of miracles, of correcting the conditions, from lack of love in others. I don't know. I didn't write that too well. But basically, that subject object affected. That's why you feel affected. You feel like there's two out there, and this person's doing something or not doing something that you want them to do, right? So But picture if you take away you as the subject, if you take away that thinking mind, is there really an object anymore? And I have to tell you, there isn't then. Just test that out. You take away your thinking mind, a subject, you take those thoughts away and look out, there won't be any objects that are separate from you. Will all be in union. I don't know. It's just pretty. Oh man. Oh, somewhere in Longchenpa. Oh, I wrote this. I wrote this in the email. How are we doing on time? I quoted this because I love this. Timo Speckens, one night on Thursday nights, he reads from a book called this holy enlightened being called Longchenpa. And I went into the book and from last week, let's see if I, basically, he says, maybe it's on this page, is things manifest without really existing. Now, isn't that the truth? Things manifest without really existing, and the yogin bursts out laughing. Because picture what we've done. We've projected images. We've manifested images. The whole universe, Garden of Eden. We manifested it, but it doesn't exist. Oh, that's Longchenpa. I got to find the book. Hang on. This is now, see, I never know when there could be a sentence or a truth that comes up that could just break you straight out of illusion. So that's why I'm going to go here and find this, because it's just it's a blue book and there's 5 or 7 of them. These in the Buddhist world are really valued in that this man knew what he was talking about. And it's in section 8, page 59. Here it is. In the experience of yogins, yogins, who do not perceive things dualistically, which is what you're starting to do, the fact that things manifest without truly existing is so amazing they burst into laughter. Because see, they figured it out. They had enough suffering that they realized there had to be a better way, and they started whatever they were doing to heal their mind. The fact that things manifest without truly existing is so amazing. That's like putting the virtual headset on. We manifest that. Now, see, you can stop during the day and think, oh, I put the virtual headset on. I fell into believing this was, and just take a breath, lean back, relax, breathe, smile, and relax. It's all, this is simple. Just breathe, relax, and smile is, I don't know how to stop this. There we go. Is, because I didn't know how to breathe, smile, and relax. It's huge because ego got us all tightened up, all thinking, stinking thinking, caught up in these 6 senses. Thinking's one of the 6 senses: sight, hearing, smell, touch. We want to have open senses, open hearing, open seeing. Everything's open, open, relaxed. That way you become aware. You become aware. This is really important. That's why I'm getting stopped here. It's so simple. You become then aware of how your body feels. Because I was talking with someone, I forget who, is the body sensations can help you, besides your feelings, tell you where your mind's at or where your mind's been. Because it's starting to feel tight, constricted, slow, heavy, sleepy, all these things. That's why we don't deny that we're a sentient being embodying this human form. And in the why I love about this sky gazing meditation, I become aware of my feelings. I will become aware of how my body feels. I used to deny how my body felt. And that was part of this repression of thoughts and feelings. It was also repressing how the body felt. But so if I just feel tired, then I might need to take some naps, be less hard on myself. You relax. But breathing, I wasn't used to breathe. I was shallow breathing from start 2 inches below the navel, deep breath in, and on the exhale, say ah. Do 3 of those in a row. You will relax your form. Then bring your attention to the center alignment behind your forehead, and think about the spacious, clear light of spirit, or out in front of you. This space is representative of the spacious God mind. And these are all projections. All the chairs, tables, laptops we're on, those are projections that we've manifested into the God mind right here, right now. Oh my. Wow. But you can wake up in a second. This doesn't take years to do. That's different. If you, 2 things, daily meditation and practicing short moments repeated many times, you'll wake up faster than I ever did. Now, any thoughts or questions on this?
Can you hear me now, Glenda?
Yeah, yes, Gonzalo, I can hear you.
All right. Yeah. Thank you again. Thanks for inviting me. It was right on time. Um, so just thoughts like the main thing is that we apply this um, imagination practice, I call it, because we have to start there. That's the mechanism by which we visualize things, and unknowingly we're imprisoned by our imagination all day unless we get a hold of them and give them to the Holy Spirit for retraining ourselves. So we have to apply this practice of, imagining us as spirit, clear light of God all day indiscriminately to everything, because when we make it special, we'll just pick out a special person or a special thing or problem, maybe a special guilt from the past. We sort of continue to give power to that and everything else, because we're splitting them. And I know we realize we have to kind of start with our problems, because that's how we generally do our spiritual practice. We focus on what is most pressing for us, and that's appropriate. But at the same time, we also want to include everything around us, and that helps to be all inclusive, to kind of bring the universality, sort of the almightiness of being all inclusive, of realizing this is all images, this is all, you know, all mental images. There are no exclusive, images that go beyond the dream world. So it's important to, and again, we can just play around with it. We don't have to take it that seriously. In fact, we need to not take it that seriously. We just need to play around with it. And if anything, it gives us something to do interesting during the day. So, I was sharing that how, my partner's 11-year-old, him and I are not in a good place now. But the other night when I came home and he was starting up with her, and um, I can recall very clearly that I was blinded by his behavior. Like I couldn't see anything except his behavior. It was like I had, you talk about dark clouds over my eyes. His behavior had me entranced because I was so angry. And it took me back. I dawned on me today. It took me back to what I have been so angry about is the story that, you know, I got my ass beat for things way less than that. And I'm talking way less. And there was a part of me that felt very vindictive that he needs to get his ass beat too, because I got beat for shit way less than he did. And so there was a part of me that wanted him to get his just due. Like there was a part of me that wanted vengeance in a sense. And it was very personal. And it didn't hit me till today what the story was there. But my point in all of this is that we deal with the most pressing things that come up in the most pressing situations with people, but we also want to all day. You know, when I left there Sunday night and I went back home, we don't live together wisely. Um, you know, I was able to go back to practice and I got a lot of clarity just applying that to everything, everybody, everything that showed up. And I got a lot of space and a lot of clarity that this is just a tempting part of the dream, attempting to snare us back into the prison of time. And, you know, do what you got to do, be practical, but at the same time, remember this is just like everything else that attempts to uh, grab our attention and then get us to invest power into it and invest reality into it. We deal with it, we don't deny it, but we also, again, we want to go right back to the practice as this is part of a whole. You know, we never deny it and just
Well, let me just interject is I recommend to consider how you're thinking about him.
mm,
Is he spirit? Is he God? Or some dumb little misbehave, you know, I could say of some really, you know, obtrusive things. So
mm,
the thing is, picture what's happened. That's what ego does, is takes thoughts about him and puts them together into sentences, right, Gonzalo? This really is helpful. And then we repeat the
mm,
sentences ego does in our mind, and then we get upset because they're being repeated and we don't. Then we start comparing how I was brought up,
mm,
and it just keeps, then the story gets bigger, right?
exactly.
So then we come back to think of him. So let's just pause, everybody. Let's think of this. We won't say his name or anything, but as God, Holy Son of God, Spirit, Light, and those in Gonzalo's life as God, Holy Son of God, Spirit. All that matters is how you think about him. And it does, and the family. And by thinking this way, we want to be careful that ego doesn't come in and go, well, I sure as hell hope he changes.
Yeah, yeah,
His spirit gets some change on this
yeah.
deal.
Oh yeah,
No, that's right. Because then part of it is to accept how this is and have whatever conversations you have, whether you can be around this child or whatever the deal is.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
But the thing is, all the stories that we paint on isn't it just shocking? It was so shocking to me how the mind just wanders immediately
yeah.
into the past,
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
not in the now,
No, no, and again, all of
in
those.
the spirit.
Yeah, and again, it dawned on me just today, you know, what the sort of the underlying hidden story to justify my anger against him. And like you said, for me, it's been very helpful the last year or so to see everything as part of myself, as one with myself, to be joined with everything. Obviously, we use the physical symbols and people as a symbol for oneness, and so that's been I think you know, sometimes seeing everybody as God, there's kind of a distance there sometimes with the God concept. But for me, the concept of just oneness with everything um, has helped sort of bring everything into me. And that's how I
Well, I get it. But let me just ask, since we're into this deep here, is we're talking source, the
Right.
creator. I
Right.
would give it a name, recommend you give it a name,
Okay.
Gonzalo, not some general little deal, because
Mm.
that brings it home to you in the core of you that there's a creator, because the whole Course of Miracles is we've denied we got a creator. We
Yeah.
created ourselves, which is this
Right.
body, and we hold on to that body.
Right.
So I would recommend you come with a word that's comforting with you, source, creator, but also to sit back and think about the different memory chips,
Mm.
each of us, that we've categorized for ourself and family and all work, all that. So we can recognize the loop we get in about these people
Yeah.
and events.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
because yeah.
Yeah, I did a worksheet today. People saying it's called radical forgiveness, and they kind of have us go backwards to start to dig into the stories, the narratives, but that was helpful about seeing all as creator. I think the oneness piece has been a very helpful bridge, but also going the step further and endowing ourselves with the creator, endowing ourselves with the creator, as an extension of that, helps in a sense because it brings the power back to us in our hearts, as opposed to being dispersed off and separate from ourselves. So
Right.
that helps.
That's
Thank you.
that's why lying on the floor of the ocean and
Um,
allowing the water to move through your body, that's symbolic of this spirit light that you are. Then it's
mhm.
called, we Buddhists do pretty well about not using that word oneness, because all it is, there isn't even oneness. There just isness of that spirit that's flowing through everything. And that flow is the source, the creator. Oh, and somewhere in my email I sent out, this is that creative mind.
Yeah.
Oh, that extends. And I always got messed up about that. What the hell does God extend? Well, he extends this spirit. That's in the course. It's somewhere in my email. That really helped me, because that's why I use spirit so much. And of course, uses spirit. That's that clear light energy, prana energy, that animates the form, allows this energy, this light that moves through us. But we extend. So God, creator, extended spirit to us. So that's why it's so important to bring your attention back to center, to the spirit that you are,
Yeah.
the clear light, spacious spirit you are, and extend that spirit out to that young boy
Yeah.
and to yourself. Seeing that neat how the word spirit, that's in the core. I'll find it for next week. Extended his spirit to animate the Son of God, or the Son of God. But that's how we create, and of the same likeness as creator, to extend spirit. And how we extend it is by being aware of it, thinking of it, because it's here now, opening to it,
Yeah.
thinking about this spirit clear light. This, it's beautiful. Well, thanks, Gonzalo.
Thank you.
People,
Thank you so
and
much.
that you're honest enough to open up with that difficulty, but just rest or feel that, because I believe in reincarnation, and that's why Jesus says, and of course, this will save you thousands of years, but you'll have to believe in reincarnation. But the thing is, that boy represents obtrusive boys or children through all your lifetimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why it's coming to be such a magnitude, because
Yeah.
it carries a lot of judgment and
Yeah.
labeling from lifetimes, not just this one lifetime. So don't beat yourself up. That's why you tend to react more, because you're reacting from all those lifetimes.
Yeah,
So
I
if you
feel
can
the same.
forgive that kid,
Yeah.
which means look beyond the body to the clear light of spirit that he is, over and over. I love you, I love you, I love you, is huge. You've forgiven and found the clear light of spirit in all those lifetimes.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you. Any other thoughts or comments before I stop the recording? Oh, It's so simple, but yet we got to remember to apply this because we get off on that tape or that story rehashing what the people did wrong. And then we rehash in our childhoods how we were brought up and how our parents treated us. That doesn't need to be rehashed. That's an error. That's
Yeah.
the illusion. It's all clear light spirit. Let go how we were even brought up as a child. But bear in mind, each person's different. It all depends on how you feel about these things. But now, to save you years of work, it's all
Yeah.
just some errors of thinking. Can I let it go and
Yeah,
be
I think for some of us, it's helpful to acknowledge how much power we've identified and invested in those stories. So that's what I'm saying. I think for some of us, it is helpful to see, hey, I really invested a whole bunch of power and identity in this story, and
Yes,
we felt imprisoned
yes,
by it. So I think it's helpful. It's been very helpful for me to acknowledge how much power we've ingrained our identities there in the past.
yes,
Yeah,
yes. But let go. You'll figure out when to let go. Some people go to
yeah,
therapy for years
yeah,
because they can't let go. Picture a memory chip. You made
yeah,
a memory chip of we each did of our stories.
yeah,
Can you dump that memory? Can you let that memory go?
yeah.
Meaning cling. And remember the thing about Buddhism, the simple was that we simply say, don't cling onto anything. We're clinging onto our past, how we were brought up, or our job, or our family, or our something. We're having attachment or aversion. Easier said than done. But by us talking about it, I think that allows people to let go easier, maybe, instead of keep hanging on, right? Any other thoughts or comments before I stop the recording? Oh, wow. Thank you. So let's go around the screen. This is a huge moment. Short moments repeated many times of thinking of our friends, loved ones as God, Spirit, Holy God Barbie, Holy God Gonzalo, Holy God Chaz, Holy God Lorraine, Holy God Angela, Holy God Ed, Holy God Debbie, Holy God Corrine, Holy God Julia, Holy God Terry, who had to leave, Holy God Glenda, and all those watching on the video later. And all sentient beings, that's the thing. There's all these realms, animals, humans, gods, demigods, hungry ghosts, denizens in hell. Please, the merit in anything we've learned tonight, let's spread that out to all the realms. Help remove all outer, inner, and secret obstacles so that all beings can wake up from the dream they've ever been incomplete, apart, or separate from source. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Stop the recording with